Life is complex. There are so many moving parts that it's hard to wrap your mind around. There's all the emotions that you feel throughout the day. There's all the outside experiences that happen in nature, that happen around you, that happen within institutions and the systems around you, whether it be political or economical or whatever the fuck. There's how you play off other people in your life, whether it's a friend, a coworker, a boss. And it can be hard to interpret that. It can be hard to wrap your brain around that if you take a second to really conceptualize it. Because something I know is really common with myself and even other people is it can be hard to really grasp your life, the situation that you're in, or your circumstances, or even your emotional state. That is something that can be really hard to be aware of. You have to make an active effort to be aware of your own emotions, otherwise you can get lost pushing them away. And that's something everyone goes through, because everyone else's life is just as complex as yours. Now, it might be shown in a different way. They might have different complexities in different situations. If it's not an exact one-to-one ratio as to your own life, but everyone has a complex life. A lot of moving parts, a lot of things that don't really make sense when you're in that first-person perspective. Imagine someone you hate, and if you don't hate nobody, the closest you can get to it, whether it's a person that wrongs you in your life, a shitty ex, someone who stabbed you maybe. Now, oftentimes when you think of this figure, you don't think of them as a human being. You don't think of their complexity. And now, don't worry, I'm not going to try and excuse the person's actions. That's not what this video is about. I've sat there. I've done that. I've thought about someone who has really wronged me in the past, a really traumatic situation that I am still working to overcome now. And I think about their life, and it's scary. It's alien to me. I think it's the closest to dissociating that I've ever come to, is trying to conceptualize the fact that somewhere across the world, there is someone who I have such negative emotions towards that could be feeling pure ecstasy in that moment. I could be crying, remembering the action that they did to me, whatever they've done to me. I could be crying, recollecting that trauma, and they could literally be at the time of their life, or vice versa. I could be on the prime of my life. Everything's going great. It's 2 months from now. My YouTube channel is skyrocketed. I have 1 million subscribers. Life's great. And their dog could have died. They're sad. They're crying. That terrifies me. Not from some sense of like, oh my God, I have this competition with this person, but just that sheer scale of I can't even comprehend my own life. Yet when I try and comprehend the life of somebody else in all of its complexity, my brain shuts down. That's crazy. There's a term for this. I don't know how scientific this term is or where the fuck it comes from, but the word is sonder. S-O-N-D-E-R. The realization that people's lives outside of yours is just as complex as your own is. That's fascinating. That's crazy. Because you never get to experience nobody else's life. And nobody else gets to experience your life. You only get to see bits and pieces, even if it's your best friend, even if it's someone you're married to for years upon years. You've been married to this person for 30 years. You still don't know their life in the way that they do. You could be there for every moment, but you never see what goes on in their head. You never see the world through their eyes. You will never know. That's crazy. It's crazy that no matter what it comes to, you will never be able to understand someone's perspective in its entirety. You can understand, you can empathize, but you don't have the full context that gets where someone got there. That's scary. I mean, that's scary to me at least, not from some sense of like, oh my God, I'm shriveling in my bootstraps, but just the sheer amount of information there that I could never hope to comprehend, that puts a little bit of fear in me. Maybe I'm weird for that, but isn't that odd? Isn't that crazy? I think it is. I made a fucking YouTube video about it. This is the YouTube video. You're watching the YouTube video I made because that was such an overwhelming thought I had. That is one of the complexities of my life that I am letting you see. Does that make sense?